It would be false to say that spiritual path is devoid of pleasure and that you have to choose between happiness and spiritual learning. What you have to renounce to in order to attain wisdom is not pleasure in itself, but the lower and false forms of immediate pleasure. You make a change in mind from illusion to truth, and you learn how to choose a lasting pleasure instead of a false satisfaction, which will, in most cases, only open the door to a lasting pain and frustration. But from the point of view of the naive and the ignorant, then you have to renounce happiness, which is for them short-term pleasure, in order to attain a very difficult, almost unattainable form of happiness somewhere there on heaven. This is false. The happiness, the disciple of the wisdom, be it a Christian or a Hindu or a theosophist, the pleasure is attainable here down on earth, thanks to good sense, thanks to moderation, and pleasure, the pleasure that is compatible with spirituality, is simplicity. It is found through simplicity. The pleasure of looking at a forest, the pleasure of looking at a tree, the pleasure of walking and breathing in a forest, the pleasure of looking at your family and saying, "This is my family," the pleasure of looking and walking on the streets of your city and saying, "These are my streets in my community," the pleasure of looking at the sky. There are thousands and thousands of immediate forms of healthy pleasure available to us. It is a question of being modest. Modesty or humbleness is the door to a lasting pleasure in living in accordance with the laws of nature. Pleasure based on anxiety is the door to unhappiness. And most people are quick to pass that door. And as soon as they get frustrated, they want more and more immediate pleasure and find growing amounts of unhappiness. This should not be the case of a theosophist, should not be the case of anyone who has common sense. By renouncing illusion, we are not condemned to a long life of sufferings. By renouncing illusion, we renounce false pleasure, renounce true unhappiness, and begin living with that moderate form of sustainable happiness that makes sense and is fully compatible with the spiritual life.